Sketchbooks. As artists, a sketchbook is our playground, our laboratory, our gym. They're vital to us. Without them, we can't grow. Sure, we can digest art, watch some educational art tips, and read some helpful diagrams, but when it comes to putting our artistic skills to the test, nothing beats actually drawing. Seems kind of obvious, right? To get better at drawing, you gotta draw. Now, I've been drawing since I could remember. Back in my elementary school days, I would grab anything I can get my hands on and draw that way. Most of the time, it would be a dollar store composition book. I would draw with whatever, too. Ink, markers, colored pencils, twistable crayons, whatever I could. I would go through these like once a week, I swear. You can tell I played a lot of video games back then. Still do, but as much as an adult nowadays can. I would just draw whatever I felt like drawing. I kind of miss that carefree and fun spirit I had. As kids, we don't really have any shame or inhibitions with expressing ourselves. All that is taught to us. As an adult, our minds get preoccupied with bigger problems at hand, or maybe we feel like we aren't progressing in our artistic growth as fast as we'd like. As I grew into my teenage years, I moved on to spiral-bound sketchbooks. As I grew older, I found myself drawing less often, and as I grew busier with extracurriculars, I also was considering a life path away from art. Art took a back seat in my life. It was nothing but a hobby. Flash forward to my college years, I decided to major in art and got a drawing tablet. With this fancy piece of tech, the idea of buying paper only to sketch in felt wasteful to me. This later led to me feeling like I needed to make every sketch of finished artwork. I'd feel overwhelmed and ultimately wouldn't draw as often because I felt a combination of pressure and creative block every time I'd open a drawing program. This is pretty funny and ironic, because even though I was an art major, I would hardly be drawing for myself. I would grow as an artist through my assignments, but it's important to have some you time to just relax, be stupid, and draw whatever. But nowadays, I know better. Lately, I've gotten back to drawing in sketchbooks again. Austin Kleon writes in his famous book, Steal Like an Artist, "While I love my computer, I think computers have robbed us of the feeling that we're actually making things. Instead, we're just typing keys and clicking mouse buttons. It wasn't until I started bringing analog tools back into my process that making things became fun again, and my work started to improve. For my first book, I tried to make the process as hands-on as possible. Every poem in that book was made with a newspaper article and a permanent marker. The process engaged most of my senses. The feel of newsprint in my hands, the sight of words disappearing under my lines, the faint squeak of the marker tip, the smell of the marker fumes. There was a kind of magic happening. When I was making the poems, it didn't feel like work. It felt like play." Additionally, if your profession requires you to stare at screens all day, it doesn't help when your fun time drawing is you looking at screens some more, you know? Also, in using sketchbooks, that pressure of making a masterpiece is gone. I know I'm not going to make something I want to sell or display in these books. And you know what? If I do, I can always take a picture, import it, and go from there. I mean, I've done that already. Now, with all that being said, let's talk about some of my personal favorites of what sketchbook is right for you. Now, obviously, the right sketchbook will mean different things to different people, so the best I can do is give you some personal recommendations. I like to sketch with pencils mostly. Occasionally, I'll use pens or markers or, the occasional China marker. I prefer smaller sketchbooks, something that's portable and will fit in most shelves. Over the years, I found that large and bulky books may seem enticing at first. I would think, I have more real estate to work in. This is great. I'll have more creative freedom. But no, what I found is I end up just drawing bigger. Carrying them around is a little bit of a chore, and, I don't have them on me as often as a result. I don't sketch in them as often. Now, as an honorable mention, I'd recommend the Moleskine Art Sketchbook. Now, it is a bit small, a bit too small for me, but the paper quality is pretty solid. That's what I would say is its best redeemable quality. It feels really good. This paper is nice. If you're all about paper quality, I'd recommend checking Moleskine out. This one cost me about, I think, $19-20 for only 88 pages. I don't know. Doesn't really seem like a good deal, but I'd probably place this third place. Coming in at second place and best all-around choice, Talon's Art Creation Sketchbook. It's about 10, 12 bucks in my local art supply store. It gets the job done. I like that I can stretch the pages out like this, and boom, I have a bigger workspace. Can't do that with spiral books. This is a great budget choice, and the size is a bit more comfortable. Not quite A5 paper in size, but getting close. But I would say, when it comes to first place, Leuchtturm 1917 plain sketchbook. This one takes the cake. Easily. It's a bit pricey. I paid a little bit over $20 for it, but it's great attention to detail. Its pages are numbered, includes these handy stickers. The childlike part of my brain loves that they come in all these cool colors. I think it's fun. Paper quality is okay, less quality than the moleskin paper, definitely, but it still gets the job done. Now, I understand if it's pricey, depending on your economic situation and how often you draw, this might not be the right choice for you. And that's fine. Now, I say all of this to lead to my final point. Fancy bells and whistles don't matter in a sketchbook, really. Ultimately, whatever you can get your hands on at the end of the day and helps you practice your art is going to be the best option. Just look at 6-year-old me churning these notebooks out week after week. A video on sketchbooks that I really love and I would really recommend is Chroma Moma's The Importance of Sketchbooks. I would like to close on his words because really they encompass what sketchbooks are at the end of the day. The worst kind of sketchbook is an unused one.